Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do a review on this Cuisinart Coffee Center and Barista bar, model number SS-4N1. So this is a brand new coffee maker Cuisinart just released and it retails for $300. Yeah, and Cuisinart's even changed their box art a little bit. This looks completely different than others. So they call this machine the 4-in-1. On the left we got a full 12 cup carafe we can make a pot of coffee with, but on the right we can use a K-cup or an espresso pod and do an espresso or a coffee with a K-cup. But we also have the steam one, so we can have steam come out this wand or hot water. Okay, so let's take a look up top. Over here we've got the traditional coffee maker. It does come with the reusable filter. It does take a number 4 cone filter. There's the brew basket, so you either have to use that filter or a paper filter. We do have a carbon water filter. This is where you're going to put the water and the coffee for the coffee maker. Now over here, this is a metal handle. You're going to lift it up and this whole thing pops up. Now we've got 2 places. We can put a K-cup or an espresso pod. Now if you want to put an espresso pod, this is called the original line espresso pod, you're going to take this little adapter out, which I'm going to show you how to do that, but this goes in here. There's the needles. This is for the Nespresso pods. There's for the K-cup. And when you've got one in, put it down and close the handle. So we do have a window on the side for the coffee maker side. See how much water we've got in. Now around back, it's got a nice big water reservoir. This is for the K-cup and the espresso side. Okay, so again, here's the carafe that it comes with, and it has a warming plate that's going to keep your coffee warm. Now it's got a really nice control panel. So up here, this is for the Nespresso and the K-cup. You're going to turn this dial. So we can do a single shot, which it'll run 1.35 fluid ounces through an espresso pod. We can do a double shot right here. That'll run 3.7 ounces through an espresso pod. Then we go to the K-cup, so pods. We can do 6 ounce, 8 ounce, and 10 ounce. And then we keep turning it. We can do hot water, and we can do steam. Now be careful with the steam. The steam is really hot. And as soon as you press this button, it's going to start whatever one you've got selected. So as soon as I press that, it'll start it. Now to do the coffee maker, we can do a bold brew or a normal brew. You cannot do a bold brew on these down here. This is the coffee maker button. So when you want to start the coffee maker, just press that and it'll start brewing. This switch up here, make sure this is in the brew position. There's a little dot here. That way all of this will work. When you've got it in the auto on, you're going to be setting the time that you want this to come on automatically in the morning. And the auto off, you can set the auto off time accordingly. Now it does have a clean button, and there is a clean light to let you know when it's time to descale. Do a real quick measurement with the drip tray. On this side, it's about 7 inches, but we can take this drip tray and move it up right here. And then you can put about a 4 1/4 inch. Now this one will do 2 pods. It'll do just a standard regular old K-cup. K-cups hold 2 tablespoons of coffee in them, but it'll also do the Nespresso original line. So make sure if you're getting espresso capsules, it has to say the original line. Now on the back, you're going to see, it's going to tell you what it brews. This can either be a single shot or a double shot. Some K-cups, they only want you to roast it on a single shot. So like this K-cup, this Nespresso pod is only for a single shot. But this one here, we can do a single shot or a double shot. Now the pods look exactly the same. One has a little bit more coffee in it. Okay, so let's brew an espresso pod. Again, this is very easy to open up. We're going to take this out. Now there's like some rubber gripper things in here. You're going to take this pod and you're going to push it in here like that till it's fully seated like that. Then you're simply going to place it in here like this. And then when I close this, it's going to pierce the top and the bottom of that pod. Close it. It's very simple to do. Very easy. That was not hard to push down. We come over here. We're going to do the single shot on this one. And you just press that button and it's going to start brewing. And there is a little on light to let you know that the brew has started, even though you don't hear anything right at first. Okay, so about 15 seconds, you'll hear the pump start up. And there's what that single shot's going to look like. Now, I can't drink it like that, but if you add that to some steamed milk, make a cappuccino or latte, it tastes really good. And it ends up being about a 160-degree shot. Okay, so now we're going to lift this lever. Now the pod stays there. You can see now this can be hot, so you got to be careful. But there's what the top looks like. you're supposed to take this out and we're going to poke that pod out, but we can see there's what it did. Okay, so I put another pod in, again, put it in there. It's going to sit up there like a little bit, but when I press this down, it's going to compress it and poke the needles. Let's do a double shot this time. Again, the on light comes on. You don't hear anything right away, but you will in about 20 seconds. You'll hear the pump kick on. Okay, so here it is brewing our double shot. That looks really good. Now these taste really good in cappuccinos and lattes. Okay, it does a single beep at you when it's done, and that ends up being same thing, right about 165. Again, there's what it looks like. Okay, so now let's brew a K-Cup. Let's open this up. Again, this is going to be hot, so be careful. Let's put a K-Cup in here. Again, it's going to poke a hole in the top and the bottom on the K-Cup side. Very simple. Now, I like to brew mine on 8 ounces, but you can brew a 6 ounce. That's a really strong coffee. You can brew 6, 8, or 10. I'm going to do 8 ounces, and you just press this start button. Now, this one, it usually starts pretty quick. Okay, so the on light is on. We hear the water pump. And our single serve coffee is brewing. Yeah, it's going to ramp up the temperature quite a bit. It doesn't take very long at all to brew a cup of coffee. So be careful, that's going to be a really hot cup of coffee. It's about 185 coming out the bottom now. Okay, so it's done. So in under a minute, you've got a cup of coffee. And it's going to beep at us also. It's a very small beep. Let's open it up. Let's see how it did. Again, there's the top needle. There's the K-Cup. Again, be careful. This can be hot, but you're going to take the K-Cup out. Close this. Now, I've been drinking the coffee out of here. I have to add cream and sugar to this, but it does make a pretty nice hot cup of coffee. Okay, so now let's use the steam one. This thing rotates like this. You don't really have much movement with it, but be careful. Make sure you're using this. It does get hot. So let's do hot water first. We're going to rotate this, hot water, and then press the start button. Now you're going to start and stop it yourself. The on light's going to come on and really hot water is going to come out. But the nice thing about this hot water is it bypasses, so it doesn't have any of the coffee taste or anything. 144. So the water coming out, it's about 160 degrees. Again, when you're done, just press the stop button. It takes a couple seconds for it to stop. Okay, so now let's steam some milk. Now you are going to need a container. You can do it in a mug. It works out okay. I've got this little steaming jug here. I've got some just 2% milk in here. We're going to do steam. Now be careful. The steam is extremely hot. And if you accidentally press it, just press it again, it stops it. So you got to rotate this to the word steam. Okay, so make sure your jug is in there. We got it on steam. Press the start button. It takes a little bit. Now I've got steam coming out. You want to kind of angle it and get it at like a right below the surface of the milk. You don't want to overheat the milk, but this is a whole art in itself, but it actually does a really good job of steaming the milk. You can see that it is rising in there. So press the button to stop. And the way you know it is the on went away and the steam reappeared. That's how you know it's off. But it takes a little bit for it to stop. Okay. It did a really good job. Okay, so now we can add that to our drink that we made earlier. I have made too much, but that's a nice cappuccino. Add some syrup to it. That's going to taste really good. Okay, so let's make a pot of coffee now. Again, there's the brew head. One thing I did notice is this brew basket, you do have to kind of make sure it's pushed down. The lid should kind of go sort of flush. If it's sticking up a little bit, that means your brew basket's not all the way in. Let's use the permanent filter. Again, you could use a number 4 cone paper filter also. We're going to use, it does come with a scoop, but if you lose the scoop, it's 1 tablespoon per cup you're going to brew. Okay, I've got 12 tablespoons of ground coffee in here. And again, whatever amount of water you put back here, when you press this brew button, this on-off button, it brews whatever amount you put back here. So if you only want a 6-cup pot of coffee, just put 6, fill it up to the 6 mark back here and put 6 tablespoons. And you can follow that accordingly, but we're going to do the full 12 cups. Okay, so let's pour the water in. I've got the carafe. I'm using the carafe to fill it up. It's a little different than normal. This is kind of more of a left-handed fill up for a coffee maker. Okay, so it's filled all the way up. Close this. Make sure your lid is on your carafe. Put this in. We could do a bold brew, but I'm just going to do a normal brew. So turn that off. And to start the coffee maker, you don't touch this button. Make sure this is in brew, but you're just going to hit this on-off button. That's going to start the coffee maker. And that light is pulsing. Okay, so while it's brewing, here's what the Nespresso pot is cooled down. There's what it looks like. It poked holes in this side and on the back side. Okay, so the coffee smells really good. Let's just take a sneak peek real quick. Yeah, it's doing a good job brewing the coffee. And when it's brewing a pot of coffee, you cannot brew anything over here. And they give you a little chart here, so you can make an Americano. So since you can get just hot water out of that, you can add that to an espresso. There's all the different kinds of drinks you can make with it. Okay, so it's finishing up the brew. It brews about a cup a minute. That's about standard. And the coffee coming out the bottom is about 194 degrees. That's very hot. And again, the warming plate's going to keep the coffee warm. You can adjust that from 0 to 4 hours with the auto off feature. So that is a nice feature that this coffee maker will shut off automatically. The default is 2 hours. Okay, so you get about 4 or 5 beeps. Now the warm light is on. The brew light went out, the warm light. That's how you know the warming plate is on, keeping your coffee warm. And now this lit up, so now I can do any of these that I want to do. So up here we can see there's how the coffee grounds did. Looks like it did a good job. Okay, let's pour ourselves a cup of coffee. The carafe pours really nice. Go nice and easy with it. Again, this coffee is very hot, so be careful. So we end up with about 175 degree cup of coffee. Yeah, it's too hot to drink right now, but it is a really nice tasting cup of coffee. Okay, so cleanup is very simple. Here's the brew basket. You can take that over there, get rid of the coffee grounds. You can wash both those in the top rack of the dishwasher. Okay, so let's set the current time. We're going to hold this hour button. It's going to start flashing. Now we change the hour. Now it does have a PM light, so that's nice. So if it's PM where you're at, there, change the minutes. It'll stop flashing and then it'll memorize the time. Okay, so let's set the auto on. You're going to rotate this to auto on. The time is flashing. Now, this is the time you want it to start in the morning. What time do I want to start in the morning? Let's do, now it is AM and PM again. Let's go back to AM. Let's do 5. Oh. Let's do 5 and then the minutes, 5:10 AM. Okay, so to set the auto on, again, you're going to set the time. Let's do 6:06 minutes. Before it stops ending flashing, you want to hit the on button. What that's going to do is that's going to set the auto on. You're going to leave it in this position and with that time. So it's going to go back to your current time. The auto on is on steady. This switch is in the auto on position. And make sure your carafe is empty. You've got your water, your coffee, and it'll brew you a pot of coffee in the morning. It will not brew an espresso or a K-cup. Again, that auto, when you go to bed, that auto on has to be on steady. The switch right there. If you want to cancel it, you can hit this and that cancels it, or just go back to brew. Let's set the auto off. Rotate this to auto off. Again, the default is 2 hours. We can go all the way up to 4 or 0. That means it'll shut the coffee maker off right after it's done. And we can do even certain minutes. But between 0 and 4 hours, when you got it set, rotate this back to brew. Again, down here it does have a clean light and an add water light. That's for the tank for the Nespresso and the K-cup side. So in the back tank, there's a little float in there that's going to let you know when it's time to add water, light that light. The clean light, we can run a clean cycle when it's time to descale. Front to back, you're about 12 inches. Left to right, you're almost 11.5 inches. Now this is kind of a tall coffee maker. It will not fit in our kitchen cabinets, so it's right at about 23, and with that little tab, almost 23.5. You do have to be able to lift it all the way up so you can dump the water in. So I looked on the bottom, the coffee maker is 1,050 watts. Okay, so this coffee maker is a game changer. It is very well made. This is exactly what a lot of people are gonna want. They're gonna wanna make an espresso shot. They wanna be able to use a K-cup, full carafe, and then the steam one. That steam one actually worked very well. It's a little awkward kind of getting it in there just a little bit, nothing too bad. The hot water worked really well, but I'm very impressed with this coffee maker. It looks really nice. I like the hinges. Look, this is all like steel. This looks like it's gonna last a while and do a really good job. Everything worked really well. I'm just so impressed with all the different kinds of drinks you can make with this. This might be kind of a sleeper. When I first saw it, I didn't think much of it, but man, I'm glad I got it. It's very capable. The screen looks really nice. It's very stylish. It's a little tall, but that's okay because of all the functionality you get with it. Again, Cuisinart's got a really nice manual that comes with it. They've even got recipes in the back. Yeah, I just can't get over how well this one is and all the different drinks I was able to make, and it just did a really good job. So if you could, underneath the video, give it a thumbs up. That really helps my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing other reviews on brand new coffee makers. So if you hit the subscribe button, and then if you hit the little bell, you'll get a notification when I release a new video about a new coffee maker. And underneath the video, if you see the word see more, click on that. It'll bring up more of a description of the video. And in there'll be some links. So I'll put a link to this. This will take you to an Amazon. They are selling this on Amazon. Now, I get a commission from the sale if you end up buying it, but the product won't cost you anymore. I bought this with my own money, and it is a way of supporting my channel. I do have an Amazon storefront, so in there, that video, or underneath that video also, you'll see a link to my storefront, and that's on Amazon. That's all the different products I've reviewed, and kind of links to where you buy them. Now, this one's a win. This one's a plus. I definitely recommend getting this coffee maker. It's just a really nice one. It's going to take up a little bit of room, but you got so much more functionality with it. Really appreciate everybody's support. I will be comparing this to the other Cuisinarts, but it's not going to be much of a comparison because the other ones just do K-cups and 12 pot. This one does the Nespresso pod, so this is really going to be a game changer. Again, thanks everybody for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you could, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.